Tonight was a tragic night involving an extremely dangerous suspect. We have multiple crime scenes, multiple victims, injured officers, and a member of our community was taken from us by the actions of this dangerous suspect. I'll share a brief timeline of information provided in as much detail as possible, but please understand that it's early in the investigation, and this is a very complex investigation. The FDLE will be taking the lead in the officer-involved shooting aspect, which is also standard procedure for our agency. Our thoughts are with the family of the man who was killed by the suspect tonight. Our victim's advocate will be working closely with the family to ensure they are connected with the resources they need as they will navigate this difficult time. We'll release names later as we notify the next of kin. I want to tell you, though, that I returned from the hospital just a couple hours ago, speaking to my officers that were injured. I have 3 officers that were injured in this incident, and thankfully, their injuries are not life-threatening. Every day, our officers go out and put themselves in danger, and tonight was just another example of their heroic efforts in ending this violent rampage of this suspect. Here's a brief synopsis of the events as they occurred. Tonight, or last night, just before 8:30 p.m., officers responded to the area of Meadow and McDill Avenue in South Tampa. The caller said that the suspect had been at the Dollar General at Del Mabry and Interbay, and his car was blocking a victim's car from trying to get into the business. They argued back and forth, and eventually the victim left. This victim noticed that the suspect was following him to his house. Eventually a disturbance occurred where they were throwing items at each other, and then the suspect reversed out, hitting the victim with the car twice. Fortunately, that victim was in stable condition. While this was happening, a friend of the victim was firing at the suspect in an attempt to stop this violent act. At 8:33, the suspect driving a white Honda was driving in circles at Interbay and McDill before striking and killing an adult male pedestrian and then fleeing the scene. We believe that this act was intentional. This white Honda then suddenly veered off of McDill, hitting another innocent pedestrian. Fortunately, this one did survive. A TPD officer arrived, the suspect was still there, and the witness pointed out to the suspect, who then fled the scene. This officer attempted to take the suspect in custody, but he was able to get back in his car and flee. Again, another victim going to the hospital. At 8:39, another call came in South Tampa where they saw this vehicle. A group of people saw it actually moving towards pedestrians on the sidewalk and actually striked another one. That man was in his early 40s. He was transported to the hospital. He does have serious head injuries, but it appears that he'll be okay. Later on at 10:16 p.m., we got a report at West Shore and Lemon that the driver of the vehicle had again intentionally veered into people at the scene, and another person was struck. So in total, I have 4 people that were struck by this suspect, 3 with serious injuries, and 1 that did not survive. Our officers saw this vehicle on Lemon, and they initiated a pursuit, which got onto 275. In order to stop the pursuit, the officers used the pit technique, and when they did that, the suspect was getting out of the car, reaching for what they believed was a weapon, and then shots were fired. The suspect did not survive. And like I said before, I had 3 officers that were injured in that incident. And fortunately, they are going to be okay. At this time, we are working with FDLE and the state attorney's office. So I have Mark Brunel, the SAC from FDLE with me, and I have Susie Lopez, our state attorney. But I just want to reiterate that this was a violent night, and we have 4 citizens that were hit by the suspect in the car. 1 of them did not survive, and 3 of my officers that were injured during the apprehension of this suspect. We do know that the suspect is a 47-year-old white male with an extensive violent criminal history who was released from prison approximately 2 years ago. We will provide updates as they come. Again, it's early in the investigation. And any questions? It's part of what we're looking into right now, but we do know that they're minor injuries.
Location of hospitals that they were transported to or anything? Is it TGA?
Different victims are at different places. Okay. Thank you.